The first thing Maya Chen noticed was the man's hands. They were shaking, not wildly, but enough that the coffee in the paper cup trembled like it might spill at any second. People around him pretended not to stare, yet they kept glancing back, sensing something wrong but unsure what it was. Maya had built a billion-dollar company by noticing small things others ignored, and this tension in a crowded airport cafe on a rainy Tuesday morning, felt like the start of something she couldn't walk away from. Maya was the CEO everyone in business magazines loved to photograph. Calm eyes, sharp suits, and a reputation for decisive leadership. Few knew that before the boardrooms and headlines, she had been the hearing daughter of deaf parents, raised in a small apartment where silence was not emptiness but language. Sign language was her first language. Spoken words had come later. It was a skill she rarely used in public anymore, tucked away like an old family photograph. Until now, the man stood near the window with a little girl clinging to his leg. She couldn't have been more than 6. Her hair was tangled, her pink backpack slung crookedly over one shoulder. She looked exhausted, the kind of tired children get when adults around them are barely holding it together. The man leaned down, whispered something she couldn't hear, and she nodded solemnly, as if she understood far more than a child should. 2 security officers walked past, slowed, then stopped. One of them spoke quietly into his radio. Maya saw the man's shoulders stiffen. He shifted his weight, his hand going instinctively to the inside of his jacket. That was when Maya understood. The man wasn't dangerous. He was terrified. The officer stepped closer. "Sir, can you come with us for a moment?" The man's lips parted, but no sound came out. He shook his head, eyes wide, and raised his hands, not in surrender, but in frantic motion. His fingers moved fast, clumsy with panic. "Help me, he has a weapon." The words formed clearly in Maya's mind before she even realized she was interpreting them. Her heart slammed against her ribs. She was on her feet before her assistant could stop her. The cafe noise faded as she crossed the room, heels clicking too loudly on the tile. The officers turned toward her, surprised. "He's deaf," Maya said calmly. "He's not saying he has a weapon. He's asking for help. He thinks someone else does." The man saw her hands move and froze. Then recognition flooded his face. Relief hit him so hard his knees buckled slightly. He signed back, slower now, desperate but clear. "They think I'm dangerous. My daughter is scared. Please." Maya raised her hands, meeting his gaze, grounding him. "I'm here," she signed. "You're safe. Let me help." The officers exchanged looks. One frowned, uncertain. "Ma'am, we received a report." "I understand," Maya said, her voice steady. "But there's been a misunderstanding. Let me translate." The little girl peeked out from behind her father's leg, eyes fixed on Maya's moving hands as if they were magic. It turned out the weapon was a misunderstanding stacked on top of exhaustion and bad luck. The man's name was Daniel Reyes. He was a single father, deaf since birth, traveling across the country with his daughter, Lily, to attend his mother's funeral. The flight had been delayed twice. He'd argued, silently, with a gate agent who didn't understand why he couldn't hear boarding announcements. Another passenger, seeing his agitated signing and the hard shape under his jacket, had panicked and alerted security. The weapon was an insulin injector. Daniel was diabetic. The officer's posture softened as Maya translated. Apologies were offered, awkward and sincere. Daniel nodded, signing thank you over and over, his hands finally steadying. Lily hugged his leg tighter, then smiled shyly at Maya. Maya thought that would be the end of it. A moment of kindness in a crowded world, something she would remember quietly and carry on. But life had other plans. When the officers left and the cafe noise returned, Daniel slumped into a chair, his face crumpling. Grief he'd been holding back spilled over. Maya hesitated, then sat across from him. "Do you have anyone meeting you?" she asked in sign. He shook his head. "It's just us. It's always just us." Those words struck deeper than Maya expected. They talked while Lily colored on a napkin with crayons Maya's assistant fetched. Daniel told her about losing his wife 3 years earlier to a sudden illness. About learning to be both mother and father overnight. About juggling 2 jobs that didn't accommodate his disability. About bosses who smiled politely and then passed him over. He told her about nights when Lily cried for her mom and he sat on the edge of the bed, holding her, wishing love could fix everything. Maya listened, really listened, the way her parents had taught her to listen with her whole body. When their flight was finally called, Maya walked them to the gate. She gave Lily her business card like it was a treasure. Lily beamed. "Thank you for helping my daddy," she signed carefully, her small hands imitating the movements she'd seen all her life. Maya swallowed hard. "You're welcome," she signed back. "He's doing a great job." She thought that was the end. 3 months later, Daniel stood outside a glass tower downtown, staring up at a logo he recognized from the card Lily kept in her backpack. He almost turned around. Buildings like this weren't meant for people like him. But Lily squeezed his hand and smiled, brave and trusting. Inside, everything was too shiny, too loud. People spoke fast, words tumbling over each other. Daniel focused on the receptionist's face, reading lips as best he could. He showed her the email. Her expression shifted. "Oh, right this way." Maya was waiting in a conference room, sleeves rolled up, no entourage in sight. When she saw Daniel, she stood and signed immediately. "I'm glad you came." Daniel's hands trembled again, but this time it was hope. Maya explained that she'd thought about him often after the airport. About how one misunderstanding could have ruined his life. About how many others like him never had someone to translate. She told him about a new initiative she wanted to launch. An accessibility program within her company, starting with hiring deaf consultants and building real accommodations, not performative ones. She wanted him to lead it. Daniel stared at her, stunned. "I'm not qualified," he signed slowly. "I've never done anything like that." Maya smiled. "You live it every day. That's the qualification." The challenges didn't disappear overnight. Daniel struggled with imposter syndrome, with managers who smiled but resisted change. Some employees complained about interpreters in meetings, about captions slowing things down. Daniel went home exhausted, doubting himself. Lily noticed. "Are you in trouble?" she asked one night, signing from her pillow. He shook his head. "Just tired." Mom used to get tired when she did brave things, Lily signed thoughtfully. Daniel laughed, tears in his eyes. Maya faced her own challenges. Board members questioned the cost. Shareholders wanted numbers, not stories. Maya fought back with both. She used data and, when that wasn't enough, she told them about a man in an airport, shaking hands, a frightened child, and how close the world had come to ruining something beautiful because it didn't bother to listen. Slowly, things changed. The company became known not just for profits, but for inclusion. Other firms followed. Daniel grew into his role, his confidence solidifying. He spoke, signed, at conferences, Lily sitting in the front row, clapping wildly. Years later, Maya attended Lily's middle school graduation. Daniel stood beside her, proud and steady. When Lily was called up to give a short speech, she surprised everyone by signing it, an interpreter voicing her words. "My dad taught me that silence doesn't mean weakness," she said. "It just means you have to look closer." Maya felt tears slip down her face. She caught Daniel's eye and signed the truth she'd carried since that rainy morning. "You asked for help," she signed. That changed everything. Daniel shook his head gently, smiling. "You listened," he signed back. "That's what saved us." In a world rushing past, it had taken one person willing to notice trembling hands to stun everyone, including herself, and remind them that sometimes, the most powerful thing a leader can do is understand.